Now, the thing that has been said by opposition leaders is the fact that perhaps this president is suffering from something that he did a while back. You remember in 2022 akasema President Uhuru acha kujitetea na vita ya Ukraine.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately, he's been caught up in a war.
Yes.
And he's been told the same thing.
Yes.
By opposition leaders.
Yes.
Wacha kujitetea na vita ya Hormuz.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is,
yes,
prices all over the world have skyrocketed because of that particular situation.
Yes.
But ours seems to be peculiar than what is happening even to our neighbors, or rather in our neighboring countries.
Yeah.
What is so special about us and our fuel that, and yet we have an entire ocean?
Yeah.
We have access to various ports and various suppliers.
Yeah.
What is it that is happening here that isn't happening in Uganda, for example?
Boy, to start with, we have always had these conversations here, and one of the things I've kept telling you is that one of our biggest problems in Kenya is the politicization of everything. Okay? So, what opposition is accusing the president today of having done then is what they are doing now, so that they get in office, and then when they get in at some point, we'll also accuse them.
Someone will tell them, remember what you said.
At some point, we always have, not every matter is a political matter. When there is a crisis in the country, all of us must sit down and seek solutions for the country, not to milk political capital out of a crisis. What our opposition is doing today in Mbuvi is milking political capital out of a crisis. We have a situation in Kenya whereby most of the time the political class, when you are in the opposition, you really wish that government does very badly so that it gives you an advantage.
Yeah.
And in doing this, you don't suggest any solutions. You simply
point out.
You simply point out the problem that Kenyans already know. You know, like Mbuvi, you call a press conference to tell Kenyans that fuel prices have gone high, but they're aware fuel prices are high. So it's basically to just stir the emotions of the country. And that's what I've always argued that we need to move away from. And if there's the first person who should move away from that should be we the people, because it benefits politicians. It does not benefit us. When we move away from that, we'll start looking at things objectively. So we will not be excited about an opposition leader who is telling us about a hike in fuel price, when we know that, one, it's an international crisis.
Yes.
And when we know that, two, this is actually the real government intervention, we would be asking that opposition leader, what are the tangibles that you are proposing that can be able to take effect? Now, when you look at now the issue that you raise about our fuel in Kenya and
Uganda,
our fuel in Uganda,
our neighbors, landlocked countries, having reserves.
True.
Sisi hata hatuna reserves.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, we also have to come from the backing of understanding what is our economic status as a country vis-a-vis our neighboring countries. Okay? Because what makes our fuel the way it is, one, is our tax regime. Okay? We have slightly more taxes on our fuel than them.
Okay.
Now, why is our taxation higher? Because our maintenance that is required is higher than the others. Number one, we have more roads to maintain. And I saw that the president tried to make this explanation even yesterday, that we have over 20,000 kilometers of road to actually maintain. We can only maintain this through our fuel levy. Okay? The other countries that we're talking about, like our neighbors, I think have about 4,000 or something like that. So that is the first reason. That's why we cannot be equal. Number two, when you look at the two of us, most of these other African countries, the quality, we don't import the same quality of fuel in Mbuvi. That's why there was even a saga that led to the arrest of some people. The quality is never the same. So sometimes you are not comparing apples to apples per se. You might be comparing apples to oranges.
Okay.
Our quality is higher than the others. That is why it is more expensive than the others. So that is how we must be able to understand it. Number three, we must understand that it has not started, our neighboring countries' fuel has not started becoming cheaper this year or last year. Yeah, even I remember, and you have always reminded me of my time in Jubilee.
Yes.
Even at that time, even at that time, when there was a hike in fuel price, do you know one of the things that we were being accused of? We were being asked the same question. We were being told, why is fuel in Uganda cheaper?
Yes.
Now that is political gimmick. Okay, this fuel has always been cheaper in these places. Why? Because of the nature of their economy. They are smaller economies. The amount of money they need to maintain their things is lower than what Kenya needs. So for us, we are a much bigger economy. And that's why you see there is a lady I follow on TikTok who is a Ugandan. I think she's living somewhere in Kenya nowadays. And she's always taking videos being mesmerized by a lot of a lot of things in Kenya. She's mesmerized by the airport. She's mesmerized. The airport that we call bad, by the way, the airport that we think we are supposed to make better, she's really mesmerized. She's mesmerized by our roads. She wonders whether SGR is a phenomenon actually in Africa. She looks at the expressway and she feels like this is over the moon. She travels and sees the Mau Mau roads and she can't believe it. And this is because of these levies that we have. Because at the end of the day, governments do not make their own money. Government gets money from the taxes of the people. So that's why these taxation are the ones that actually make our fuel the way it is. So sometimes when we compare ourselves, it is safer sometimes to compare apples to apples than apples to oranges. Because at the end of the day, again, Mbuvi, when we say the fuel in Uganda, Tanzania is cheaper, when we are asked again, do we want to be Tanzania? Do we want to be Uganda? Again, we don't want. Because we all know that we are riding actually way higher than they are. But I really tend to want to believe that there is always more that governments can be able to do to cushion Kenyans. But regardless of the fact that there is more that should be done, it does not make us run away from the reality that there is actually something that has been done. That way, we avoid being politicians.